There's a Twin Cities rapper who has unfortunately passed away much too young in 2010 at the age of 28, but his rap name was Eyedea, spelled Eyedea. And then his real name is Mike Larson. But he was up and coming, kind of a prodigy, very young, battle rapper, and then went on to be like a studio rapper too. And he has just like a huge body of work that he created in those like 15 years. I had talked about the rap group Atmosphere and their Rhymesayers label, so that's actually where he was signed as Rhymesayers, and also was a Twin Cities artist, which is obviously the correlation is obvious. But so I went back and I had 3 of his vinyl records already. And so over the weekend, I was just listening to them. I listened to all of them a couple times, and then I ordered the one that I didn't have, and that came in the mail yesterday. But on top of that, I found out that you can actually buy some zines that I believe that it is his mother is putting together zines of his work, because I guess I read on Wikipedia or somewhere that he has like thousands of journals of poetry and whatnot throughout his life. Journals as in notebooks. And he was also known for being incredibly off top a lot too. Like you can watch videos of him freestyling, no plan, just going in freestyling off top, and he could go for like forever, just rapping off the top of his head. His style is very frantic and wordy, and then also brilliant, but also very cryptic and not really what you'd expect from rap music. I mean, there's a lot of his off top stuff, or some of his stuff. It's obviously battle rap background, where it's so to speak, dissing competitors and talking about being the greatest and all that. But then there's also a layer to his work that's very cryptic and psychological and experimental. I think if you were to try and listen to him, for me anyway, especially because the albums were released 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, it sounds like it was made in the time it was made. And his voice is very sharp and frantic. And so you kind of do need to listen to the songs and the albums more than once. But then once you listen to it a few times, you start to notice what he's doing, and then you start to catch lyrics that you didn't hear before and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I think that's one of the catch-22s of art, honestly. Like, things that you don't understand right away, it's hard to get over the hump of like first getting into it, and then once you get into it, then there's so many more layers to it that you can keep on discovering within it. But obviously it's much easier just to not put the effort in. My stomach's growling. But I think even, dude, Kendrick Lamar, who is one of the highest streamed rappers of all time, like, I've been listening to him since 2011 or so. He went through the same problems. Even when the big showdown a year and a half ago was going on, like, people continually, whenever you go on his videos, people be like, I hate his voice, I don't get it, it's too wordy, it's too cryptic, blah blah blah. And now, a year and a half later, if you go on any comment section, he's the greatest. If you go on any comment section of other rappers, people are talking about Kendrick Lamar, talking about he changed rap and he's improving rap, when he doesn't even have anything to do with the video at hand. It's a tough thing, because, you know, if an artist is really good, or if an artist is really talented, anyone can hear what's popular and emulate it. Like, anyone can do that. And so the choices that you make in order to have your own self being a piece of art, it's a risk to be yourself. The sliding scale of how much you want to be original or how much you want to be yourself, the risk increases the more you want to put your own authentic ideas within something. And I think it's a hard thing artists are faced with all the time. And I think that's why there are so many artists that like die without recognition, and then they get recognized later, or they quote unquote sell out, or they struggle for so many years. It's because of something that's like a raw, unfiltered thing, such as this Eyedea artist, who I think he is pure, raw, unfiltered poetry. Like, he does off-top poetry, or or he does like unfiltered kind of songwriting. An artist like that is much harder for people to put the time in, and it's much harder to like get people to put the time in. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the zines, I've looked at them a little bit. One of them is sort of just scans of notebooks of like more his later stuff, lyrics and poems and stuff. And then the other one I got, it seems like it goes back further to like kind of more his early writing of even when he was a kid and stuff. And there's a few more on there. I'm not sure if I'll get more, but it was cool to see that that sort of zine was being put out. And sort of the nature of his craft was like something anti-establishment, anti-corporation, anti-going through the business, and more just like an unfiltered expression that doesn't need to be tied down by a label or a major label, because Rhymesayers is an independent label. I actually need to go, but I don't know if I made myself clear. Whatever. But and then yeah, just to reiterate, that Rhymesayers label, it's a fully independent label, and he's a Minnesota artist, and you could tell just from I mean, I haven't met anyone at the Rhymesayers thing or whatever, but you could tell that they gave him a platform for that sort of expression too, and I think they were friends, and they've written songs about his unfortunate passing and stuff. And yeah, it's just interesting. Think about platform, think about exposure, because back then it was about like tape trading too. We're talking about 2001, 2003, and performance and festivals, and no internet, so to speak. So giving someone a platform and then an opportunity to be as free as that, first of all, was a risk of the label, and then also it was a risk of the artist. And now, 25 years later, 20 years later, 15 years later, the work is still getting studied, and it's still getting discovered. I think he's probably most famous in the Twin Cities, but I do wish that more people would learn about his work and research his work and listen to his work.